Just another day. Just another day.
It's good afternoon from Steve.
And it's good afternoon from Bev. And is it the afternoon?
Yeah.
It is the
It
afternoon.
is. It's half
Have you
past
put
12.
a battery in that?
Yeah.
Have you got some today?
No, I got them yesterday and I put it in yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I do things and you don't see it.
First time I've done, well, I took it down and took the battery out.
Yeah. But no good taking battery out and just leaving it on worktop, is it?
That's good, that. I like that clock. It's my favourite clock in the house.
And it's hard to tell time because you can't see it fingers.
Yeah. I got that one for the front room, but you didn't particularly like it, did you? No. So we got another one for the front room. Yeah. Anyway, so where did we go last night?
Where do we normally go?
No, a special one last night.
Well,
we've never been, have we?
Yeah, we went to a new ukulele group. Well, we've known about them for a long time, but we just can't fit it in. Anyway, like yesterday morning, Tuesday morning, we couldn't go to ukulele in because Burke and area. So I took my mum shopping in the afternoon, so that I didn't have to go down at night, and we went to Ukes of Azza, didn't we?
Ukes of Azza last night, but unbeknown to us, they were playing to an audience. Yeah. We thought it was just...
Well, we didn't know they did that, did we?
We thought it was just a practice session, you know, like we go to any other day at any other group, and it would be any other day at Ukes of Azza last night, but they had arranged a special one-off gig.
No, it's not a one-off. No, I think they do it. They do that. They do invite an audience. Right. I think it's like the partners who don't play ukuleles to come along and watch when they pick a new book. They pick a new songbook, they practice it, and then they'll work on it. You think that they'd really work on it, and then when they've perfected it, get the audience in, but it seems it's the other way around.
It was held at the Holding Arms at
Aslingdon. Nice
pub.
Yeah, I think it's an eatery. I think they do food and things there.
I've taken a liking to a drink called...
Aussie.
What?
Stella Unfiltered. I said Aussie.
Stella Unfiltered. It's a right nice drink, and it's 3 bottles, big bottles, for £6 at Tesco's. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, but it weren't that much last night. It was about £6 for a pint last night.
I think it was more than that. I went to the bar and I seen Stella Unfiltered on draft. I thought, oh, I'll have a pint of that. And I got a pint of that, and you got a...
tonic water.
And I got 5p change out of a tenner.
Oh dear, weren't it?
Yeah.
But it were a free night, as in we didn't have to pay to go to practice. So.
They have very few rules at Ukes of Azza. That was made out to us as we entered, that they don't take kindly to... what is it? Taking mick out of people, or...
Well, you've got to be kind to people.
Be kind to people, yeah.
That's the rule of thumb in life, isn't it? But they don't take money.
They don't take money. You don't pay to go. They don't... I don't know if they take money for doing events. I don't know. We haven't got that far yet. They don't take money off you, and they don't take money for the room or anything like that.
No, but you're expected to buy a drink.
You're expected to buy a drink at the pub, obviously, to keep the pub going. Yeah. But I won't be having that. But the thing is, again, I'm going back to what I said a couple of videos ago. We've got out of the cost of things.
Yeah, when you used to get a pint for £3.
Or even less.
Well, yeah.
I can go back to getting one for £2 bob.
I know, but you're going back bloody 50 a year.
Wait, one and odd. If anybody can remember old money, 1 and some pennies it were, 1 and 5 or something like that for a pint on that Padiham Road at the Peels Inn. If anybody can remember it, it's been pulled down many years ago now. But it was 1 and 5 for a pint, which just took me right back then to a tale when I worked at Taylor's Diecasting. I was 15 or 16.
Come here, you little devil.
And I started work at Taylor's Diecasting, and it was a shock to the system because I'd worked at a place called YEP, and I remember getting it was about £6 and something wage. That's all you got, and that was Saturday morning. And I went and I got a job. I walked out of there. There were three bosses, and one boss came in and said, "Steve, I need you to sort this job out." So I went to sort that job out, and this other boss came in, a lady, And she said, Steve, I need you to sort. I said, well, I've just been told by Harold to, I remember the name, I think she was called Katie. I can't remember the main man's name, but there was Harold, Katie, and the main man, I can't remember, Dennis, he's come back to me. And Harold came in and said, I want you to do this job, so I started that job, and then Katie came in and said, Steve, I want you to do this. I said, Harold just told me, he said, no, forget that job, you're doing this one now. I said, okay, fair enough. So I started doing the job she wanted to do, and then Dennis came in, the overall gaffer, and said, Steve,
what do you want?
Break off that job, I need you to do this job, I need you to do this task. So I did that, and Harold came in, he said, what are you doing? I said, I'm doing this. He said, I didn't tell you to do that. I said, I know you didn't. I said, but the others have been in and told me to break off and do this. He said, well, go back onto what I told you. So, okay, fair enough. So I went back to what he was telling me. Then Katie came in and said, what are you doing? I thought he didn't tell you to do that. I said, no, I've been on 2 other jobs since you came in last time. So, well, I'm telling you to go and do what I told you to do. So I said, all right, fair enough. So I broke off that, and then Dennis came in and said, what are you doing? I said, I've been told to do this job. He said, well, I didn't tell you to do that. I said, I know you didn't. I said, but I've been on 2 other jobs since you last came. He said, well, leave this job and do that. I said, that's it. I said, I've had enough. I can't take any more. I said, I'm off. I'm dog's on table.
Oh, she's a monkey.
Dog's on table.
She's on coffee table.
I said, I'm off. I can't take any more. And I walked out. And he came running after me, big boss, and he apologised. He said, Steve, we said, we're really sorry. I understand now what's gone on. He said, but we are under pressure, and we've all got us tasks to do and tasks to finish. And I realise that you've been told to do 3 separate jobs by 3 separate bosses, and I understand it was our fault. I said, it's too late then. He said, I can't take no more of that. I said, you know, you're just pushing me to the limit. I was just checking Mike were on them. And I walked off. And I went down to the job centre, and on the way to the job centre, I walked in every factory, and I got a better job as I was going along with better pay. He could in them days. I'm talking about, how long ago? I'm 19 now.
You're talking about 53 years ago. You're 68 now, and you left school at 15.
99, I thought I was 99, I'm 69.
99, you're looking good for 99.
Yeah, 50.
Knackered for 69, but
50, yeah.
99. Oh, listen to her, she thinks she's 10 men.
53 years ago. So anybody who can remember 53 years ago, you could walk out of one job and into another. So as I was going down, I was getting more interesting jobs and better pay.
Come on, Trappy, come on.
I eventually landed at the job centre.
You're coming in.
And they said, there's a job going into Foundry. And I had a few mates who worked in Foundry. I thought, yeah, I fancy that. I'll have a do with it. So I went up for the interview and I got the job. And I started the following Monday.
Oh, she's a god.
I was on, as I say, I was on £6 odd at YEP. And I started the following job on Monday.
No!
You had to work a week in hand, and I got my first pay the Friday following. In them days, they used to come round with your pay in a box. And you got paid every week.
You got your pay packets.
Yeah, with your wage in it, all your money, all your change, and everything was in the pay packet.
You were grand that, weren't you? I used to love getting a pay packet.
Yeah, it was nice.
Cash.
And it was a lad called, I used to go to, he was older than me, but he went to the same junior school, called John Kelly. And John came round and he said, Steve, your wages here. And he gave it me. I said, how much is it, John? Because he on piecework at the Taylor's Darkcasting, 6 till 2 piecework. He said, that's your wage. I said, how much is it, John? He said, £28. I said, no, it's not mine. He said, Steve, it's your wage. I said, no, I can't accept it. He said, what do you mean you can't accept it? I said, I can't accept that. I said, because I'm skint. He says, what are you talking about? It's your money. I said, I can't. I said, John, I'm skint. I said, if I take that and they find out it's wrong and then next week I've got to pay it back, I said, I can't sustain another week without any money. I said, I need my wage. He said, it is your wage. I said, it can't be £28. I said, I've never earned £28. He said, Steve, you worked hard, you've earned £28. I said, I can't take it, John. He shook his head at me. He said, he's pushing it forward now, pushing it back, because I didn't want to pay it back the week after. Eventually, he went and got the owner, and Eric Taylor, who called Taylor's Darkcasting. Anybody who remembers him all from this area, Eric Taylor. And he come down. He said, what's the problem? He said, Steve won't take his pay packet. He said, what's your problem, Steve? I said, I can't take that, Eric. Yeah, Eric. He said, why? I said, because I can't afford to pay you back next week. He said, what are you talking about? I said, it's £28. He said, that's your wage. He said, that's what you've earned. That is your wage, 100% your wage. You will not have to pay a penny back next week. That's your wage, £28. So anyhow, I took the £28 and I told my mother, and I went on to my mother, and my mother always said, you're bored, whatever you get, we'll share. So if you get £6, you get £3, £3 each. And I went home, I said, dear mother, you never guess what? She said, what? I said, I've just been paid. She said, how much did you get? I said, well, this is yours. She said, £14, so it's £7 each. I said, no, that's yours, £14. She couldn't believe it, 14 quid, which were a lot of money in them days. And that's how it went there. But there were a lot of hard lads worked at Taylor's Darkcasting. And the one character in particular, I'm not going to mention his name, and he was well known for being a proper handy lad. Didn't look broad or very big, but he had something about him, you know, he was a fighter. And they had these furnaces, big furnaces, and you had to dip your ladle into the furnace and then pour it into the dye. And I was on one side and he was on the other side. And I actually went to the furnace to get some metal at the same time as him, because they called them pots. You used to share out the same pot. And I just happened to look at him. And he just said, what are you looking at, you? I said, nothing. I said, I just looked up. He said, at dinner time, I'm going to kick your head in. I went, what? He said, you're going to get it at dinner time. I went, all right, fair enough. Never thought no more about it. Dinner time, it was, I got a right good hiding. I thought, where the hell did that come from? Because now I'm working with men. The first job, although there were some handy lads at the first job, I'm now working with men. and that's how it. But another character, who's dead now, unfortunately, and I got on with him, he was all right. But one morning I went in happy singing. And it's fair to say they all liked a pint, and he weren't so happy. And he heard me singing and came across and attacked me. But he was huge. And after he finished, he said, I'm going to give you some advice now, Steve. I said, all right, yeah, fair enough. I said, what is it? He said, your best form of self-defence is attack. He said, bear that in mind. I went, I will do next time. And that was that. But on the other hand, now we're all out on a night out now, gone for a drink on Padiham Road. For anybody who knew it, there were Peels, Union, Roebuck, Garrison, Derby. There were a lot of pubs up them in them days, and the chippy across the road, Chinese chipper. And we'd all been out for a night out with lads.
With the men.
With the men. And I went in chipper. And it happened to be that I got in before them. There were about 6 of us, and you know, the 2 lads I told you about, the 2 hard lads, they were in the group. And I got in before them, and there were about 3 or 4 or 5, 6 lads came in after me before they got into the chipper. So I'm stood at front at chipper, and the rest of the lads I'm with is at back, and the other lads, if you will, they've come round the queue. And this lad next to me bumped into me and shoved me. I said, what's your problem? He said, you just bumped into me. I said, well, you bumped into me. I said, I never touched you. He said, I think you better apologise, mate. He said, in fact, it's too late for an apology. He said, I want you outside now. This is how it were around that area.
Rough.
I went, what? He said, outside now. The lad who told, you know, who said to me, what are you looking at? I'm going to give you a good hiding at dinner time. Just reached right over the queue. He tapped this lad on the shoulder. This lad turned round, saw who it were, and he just said he's with me. And this lad who shoved into me and said, I'm going to take you outside, he couldn't apologise enough. He was apologising profusely because one of the lads, you know, the lad I told you, who's everybody's frightened of, had tapped him on the shoulder and just said he's with me. So it had its
pluses and minuses.
Pluses and minuses. You know, you couldn't act the goat with him because you got a good hiding. However, nobody else could act the goat with you because they'd give them a good hiding because you're in the team, so to speak. But we had a 2-man die, and I'm working with this character who gave me a good hiding, and you had to pour together. And as you pour, the metal fills the die up. There's no room for error. And there's a right lot of money in these castings, and it's your bonus, and that's where the 28 quid come from. You made what would it called? Piecework. It was the more castings you made.
The more perfect castings you make.
Yeah, the more money you got. So I'm pouring at the same time as him, and the ladle caught the dye, and it bounced up and spilt metal down me boot, red hot metal down my boot. And I said to him, I said, my foot's burning. He just said, keep pouring, there's money in this dye. I said, no, I said, my foot. He said, I'm telling you now, keep. So I kept pouring. And when I took my boot off, it finished all my nylon sock had belted into my foot. You couldn't, honestly, it were crazy. Rough. And you got these ingots, about that long they were, and about that thick metal, and you used to put them on top of the pot because you couldn't put cold ingots into the metal because it'd explode. So you put them onto the pots to warm the ingots up before you put them into the metal, then it wouldn't explode. So I thought, oh, I'll put some ingots on the pots at dinner time. They all gone for the dinner. I thought I'll put some ingots on the pots and get it ready, and everybody will have plenty of ingots then for when they come back to put into the pot, and everybody will be happy. Anyhow, I went for my dinner, come back, and all the ingots had gone. So I thought, oh, I'll put some more up. Unknown to me what they do, because this were a joke to them. This were funny. They took the ingots off and they were red hot on top of the stack of ingots. They were glowing. So I got hold of one to put it on, and it took all the skin off my hand, the heat, and I had to carry on working like that. And every time I went near heat, my hand burnt. Oh, it were bad, really. But that was funny to them. And they'd have tea chests that you put the castings in, so you could count them at the end of the day. And the tea chests had tin foil wrapped round inside, obviously for the tea, I suppose. And they used to rip the tin foil out and put it into the hot metal, take it out of the hot metal with the gloves on, and they'd throw it to you, and they'd say, Steve, catch that, or anybody, wouldn't mind anybody. And your automatic reaction, you think, it's coming towards you, you catch it. Well, it's white hot. It was crazy. Mad. It was mad in them days. Health and safety, they were non-existent, but...
Crack were fierce.
Yeah, the fun. Yeah, I did have a lot of fun there. It was good fun. I could write many names off there. In fact, one character, I nearly said his name then. He was known as a bit of a tea leaf. And if you ducked on a Monday, on Tuesday, they call it Tuesday Day, because you could never make your money on it. And it was right at top end at factory with no air, and right next to the pot. So I made sure I never missed a Monday because I didn't want to go on that day. But if you missed the Monday, if you ducked on a Monday, that's the one through beer. And they knew, they knew. Anyway, this character ducked on a Monday, so on the Tuesday he had to go on this day. Well, it had two, I can't remember the cores, 2 cores, and he hid the cores. Both, he took the cores out so the day couldn't run. So Eric Taylor, the boss, rings the police. Police turn up and they question this character, and he's denying. He's having none of it, and kept saying, no, it's nothing to do with me. He said, well, you're going to have to come with us. He said, hang on a minute. I said, I'll tell you something now. He said, I've hid one of them. He said, I've just took one. He said, I'll tell you where it is. So he told you, I needed them both together. Mental, honestly. What's going through their head? So when they went to get the one, they were both sat there. Eric didn't sack him. He just had to stop on the day for a bit longer. And that was a punishment, of course. But there were some crazy characters weren't there. And I did have a good time. No, despite the minor setbacks and what have you, we had a lot of good memories there, a lot of good lads, and I met some new lads. One lad I kept in touch with, Dave, Bent. I'm going to say his name. He's a good, and we had some fun together, Dave and I, over the years. And I hope Dave's all right. I haven't seen him for a while.
It's COVID since.
Yeah.
Anyhow. About 4 years since.
Anyhow.
Have you been waffling?
Yeah, we're digressing there.
Need to get you something to lubricate your clacker.
Yeah, it was good. Dangerous. I once seen a lad, we used to call him Spring-Heel Jack, I can't even remember his last name, and he sprung as he walked. And he got a right big ladle, he were an hard worker, him. And he'd bring it out of the pot, and he'd crack the top pot. which made in the ladle, the metal swirled, if you will, like that, and it splashed over out of it. And he had a tattoo on his arm, and the metal landed on his arm, and it burnt all the tattoo. And he just stood there with burning, and nobody could do anything. He had hospital, obviously, but there were 2 lads I know of. One lost his eye, got his eye burnt out, who you know, and another lad, he lost partial sight in his eye through the metal. Hard job, hard work, good money, good crack. But yeah, it was just another little episode in my life.
There's lots of them, isn't there?
Yeah, there's lots of them. There's a book in everybody.
Oh, there's a book in you, blooming heck.
So, moving on, we've been for some paint, and I'm going to put a clip in here about the paint. Bit of a shock, really, to the system. You know, the price. Again, we've got out of the...
Well, that Stainford garden fence were dear, weren't it?
That were 22 quid.
Yeah, they're only little, they're only tiny, them pots.
I know, but I thought...
I bet I'll be struggling to...
Well, I'll have to buy some more.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, too little, usually it's...
Yeah, because...
Well, I bought some that were on offer.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, that's a good deal, I'll get that, it'll come in. And I bought the wrong colour. I bought medium oak instead of dark oak. And I don't like it.
No.
So
we're trying to sell 2 tubs at
yeah.
ridiculous price, 15
I might
quid.
even go round to Dave next door but one, because I think that'll look all right on his fence, because ours are really dark, because they've been done and done and done. These are new. They've only been done once, so it probably look all right on his.
So, but again, it's going back to what we were saying, we're out of the pricing market for things. And, you know, when people do jobs and they give you these prices, you can understand...
prices, yeah.
You can understand why now they're so dear to get a job done.
Yeah, the materials are expensive.
Yeah. Which brings me to another tale.
And then the VAT on top, that's the bloody killer, isn't it?
£7 odd, weren't it, on these 2 tins? Which
Yeah.
I've put on, I'm going to put it on. Brings me to another tale. A mate of mine in our first house. I decided to stone paint outside. And a very good friend of mine, Neil...
Don't say his last
I'm
name.
saying it.
No,
I'm saying
it's
that.
like
I don't care, I'm saying
no, well, I think you should edit that out.
Okay.
You can just, it's Neil.
Sprocket said I've got to edit
Yeah,
that
no,
out.
that's not on. That's not
I'll
on.
edit that little bit out. I'll bleep it. Anyhow, he says, Steve, I've got some paint cheap.
No, we said...
I said I'm going to paint it.
And he said, oh, I can get you some paint, cheap.
No, he said, what colour are you painting? I said, I'm going to paint it cream.
Cream.
He said, I've got cream.
Yeah, I've got loads of cream.
Loads of cream, you can have it cheap. I said, you sure? He says it's good stuff,
Yeah, I'm
proper
going to
thick
do my
stuff.
house, he said. I'm going to do my house in it, and I've got enough left, you can be plenty for your
So anyhow, he brought us 2 tubs up and I gives him money. And it were cheap and it were thick.
good stuff.
Didn't look right like, but
No, but it didn't look bad.
didn't look bad.
Didn't
Anyhow,
look
I
bad.
painted up bloody house. And I kept saying it's green. It's not cream, it's green. The house is green. So I rang him up, I said, Neil, get your arse up here.
This cream
I
paint.
said, this cream
crap.
paint's not... I said, it's good stuff, I'll give you that. I said, but it's not cream. He go, come up, he went, there's nothing wrong with it. I said, it's green. He said, no, it goes like that to begin
It'll
with.
dry.
He said, once it dries off and weather's in, it'll be cream. We sold the house 5 years later, it was
Still
green.
bloody green.
I'm still waiting for it to weather off.
Yeah, it was like a luminous green. Well, no, it had a green cast to it, but yeah.
It
was
were never,
bloody
it were
horrible.
miles away
Horrible,
from
weren't it?
cream anyhow. It would never seen cream.
Good job my grandma bought a house.
She did, yeah.
My grandma didn't care.
Weren't bothered about the
She weren't
colour.
bothered, she just...
Told it was cream.
Yeah.
So don't worry, it's weathering off.
It'll be cream in another few weeks.
It's weathering off. So, talking about jobs, I've had a phone call this morning. Now, bearing in mind, because we didn't want I'll show you outside, we didn't want a join in the tarmac. So we said, as you were aware, we cut right across the tarmac and reflag the lot.
Reflag all round the doorway and everything.
Which would have cost us £4,000 plus VAT, so £5,000. Which at the time we thought were dear, on top of the job.
Well, we thought it was more than that, didn't we, originally? But
It worked out, it was £5,000.
£5,000.
We thought it was £7,000, but it was £5,000, which is still a fair old chunk of wedge of money, because I didn't want a join in the tarmac. And Pocket and I talked about it over the weekend, and we fell out about it and one thing and another. And we still hadn't decided on the Monday when he rung me up, so Bev were in bed. So I went up, I said, what do you think, Bev? Have we have it done? She said, oh no, just have it tarmac.
Yeah, but I just didn't want to spend another £5,000.
So I said, right, we'll have it tarmac, didn't I?
Go on to a new car.
He said, we'll have to have a join in. I said, I don't want to join in. He said, what do you suggest? And I said, I don't know.
No, but I mean, it was a new drive.
I said, a join, I know people get joins in the tarmac. I said, but it can cause problems over time. He said, yeah, I agree with you. I said, but what do you want to do?
He said, we don't like putting joins
No,
in
he said,
tarmac. He said, we don't want to put a join in really.
I'll get back onto insurance and see what we can do. So bearing in mind, it would have cost us £5,000 to get the shut of the join. Well, it would have looked nice.
Yeah, but we were going to have flagging. Yeah. Put nice flags in doorway and make a bit of a patio out front.
Yeah, it would have looked nice.
Would have looked nice, but...
By the way, I will I have done another little clip, about a minute and a half, of the front of where they finished yesterday to show you today. They're coming back tomorrow to put another coat on and change a couple of bricks.
That's another thing he said. When I came in, I'd only been away 2 hours. I come back, he said, and I said, is that it finished now there? And he said, I'll put another coat on Thursday. It's had 3 coats. Now how do you put 3 coats of paint on? It's bloody freezing. And in 2 hours, he's put 3 coats on.
I looked at it.
Honestly, I'm not joking.
I looked at it.
They think you come in on a banana boat.
I looked at it, looked matte. I said, is that gloss? He said, yeah, it's gloss. He said, it's because it's new wood, it's soaked in. I went, soaked in? Yeah. He went, yeah. He said, don't worry, I'm going back on Thursday to give you another coat and change them bricks. I said, all right, fair enough. So that was that. Anyhow, I'll show you the finished object so far. The new garage door is coming on Friday.
Yeah, it's very nice when it's done.
To be fair to Birkenhead, they've done a good job on that. I'm not sure about the painting yet because it's not finished. That's why I bought the paint.
And I'm not sure about the paint that's daubed on the
brick.
On the brick.
Well, I'll get that off. But I'm going to go over it with the gloss I bought today, which is beyond
when they're finished.
Yeah, when they're finished, I'm going to do it again. Yeah.
Because it has to be right, Steve's.
I can't do it.
Well, it's front of your house as well, and it was right before we set it on fire. So.
Well, we've been in this house 20 odd, I don't know, probably coming up for 28
our Rob's
years.
Nearly 50.
29 years.
We've been here longer. Our Rob's 40. Our Kelvin's 50, and Rob's 40.
It's coming about 29 years. And I did all the outside several times when I first got in. I continued painting and painting and painting. It's never any of the wood has rotted.
Because he's stained it and painted it
every couple of years. I haven't done it for a while because I fell down the ladder. Well, I think I've told you about that tale, but that's another tale. Anyhow, so I'm going to paint it over with this. What were we talking about? Oh yeah. So the £5,000 we were going to spend on having it flagged. They've rung up today and they've given the go-ahead to tarmac the whole drive. So we're having a whole new drive. New drains, new drive, new lot at no extra cost to ourselves.
It's cost us a bit of money, hasn't it? We've paid extra for garage door because we've gone for a better electric. Well, we've gone for an electric garage door. And what else? And then the excess. So really,
which has been installed on Friday.
Yeah, it's cost us about £700 altogether, hasn't it?
So I can live with that.
Yeah. Well, we've got a new garage door out at Wreckage, even though we've got a new drive, but it'll only look like it did look. But the garage door will
it'll look
nice,
better.
Won't it? What, the drive will look better when it's tarmac. Well, there was nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, they put a patch in, not a joint patch. They cocked it up when they put it down with a bit of a patch. And I'll show you something else where they failed, in my opinion. And we had a big argument about this when the guy came for his money. But that's a different story. And I'll show you where it's wrong, just to highlight it tomorrow. I'll put it on a video tomorrow, for tomorrow's natter. And I'll show you where that... Anyhow, we're waffling. I don't know how long we've been going on today. It's going on a bit, isn't it?
Well, you can bloody talk for England, you can.
So,
it's right funny because when we're on a zone, it's me that talks all the time. Steve never opens his mouth.
Might keep my head down.
As soon as he gets bloody camera out, bloody hell, he's away.
It's a man thing, you know, when to keep your mouth shut. So, on that note, it's goodbye from Bev.
And goodbye from Steve.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
Adios.
Just another day. Just another day.